Hello, my name is Dvorak. I'm a clinical psychologist and chronic pain specialist, and I'm here to talk to you about, okay, interesting. I am here to talk to you about whether or not distraction is a good coping strategy for chronic pain. Distraction is really, really popular together with relaxation. That's just about what everyone is telling someone who's in pain, emotional or physical pain. Or just relax, calm down, and take your mind off the pain of what's troubling you. So, is it a good coping strategy given that everyone seems to be in favor of it? Well, what is distraction? As I just said, well meaning people usually will often say something like, oh, just take your mind off your troubles, your pain. They might say, oh, do something, do X, Y, Z, and just forget about your pain, forget about the problem. Well, here's the question I have to you. Has it worked for your pain? Has the distraction worked? Has it been possible for you to just forget about your pain, to take your mind off the pain? And if you feel that it has worked for you in the past, for how long has it worked? Now, most people I have talked to over many years about distraction and other coping techniques that they have tried, most people I have talked to actually have told me that it's pretty hard, it's pretty difficult to distract yourself from something like pain that really bothers you. It's really hard. It's really not as simple and as easy as people make it sound when they say, oh, just forget about it, just take your mind off it. So why is it so hard? Let's say this pink elephant here in front of you is something that's really bothering. Not quite sure why. It looks like a cute little cuddly elephant to me. But let's just pretend. Let's just say this pink elephant is really bothering you. And because this pink elephant is bothering you, you are now trying to kind of forget that it even exists. There is no pink elephant as long as you just look really hard at this dancing stick figure. This is what distraction is about, right? Do not look at the pink elephant. Pretend there is no pink elephant. Replace the pink elephant with a dancing stick figure. Now, if you think about it for a moment, why are you looking at the dancing stick figure right now? Are you looking at the dancing stick figure because you wanted to look at dancing stick figures? Or are you looking at the dancing stick figure because you don't want to look at the pink elephant? So if you think about it, looking at the stick figure is actually about the pink elephant, isn't it? That's the nature of distraction. The nature of distraction is that whatever you do is directly linked to what you don't want to know, what you don't want to feel or think or whatever. So the two are directly linked. The dancing stick figure is directly linked to this pink elephant. Still, people say, well, it works. It works. If I look really hard at this dancing stick figure, it does take my mind off the pink elephant. So the thing is, how would you know when you're doing it, when you're trying to distract yourself, how would you know that it is working? How would you know that looking at the dancing stick figure is working as a distraction? Again, if you think about it for a moment, to be sure, to know that the dancing stick figure, looking at that dancing stick figure, is working as a distraction, your brain actually needs to monitor and check constantly that you are not seeing or even thinking about this pink elephant. Does that make sense to you? Even if distraction is working, the pink elephant is never really gone from your mind, is it? Because some part of your brain has to check if it's still there or not. Some part of your brain is always keeping an eye on that pink elephant. And your brain is not stupid. You cannot pretend to yourself. You can try, but you cannot pretend to yourself that something you know is there, you know it to be there, isn't. Your brain's not going to play along, not for very long anyway. In fact, the harder you try, the more important the pink elephant becomes. And once the distraction fails, which it absolutely will eventually, so when you become fully aware back of the pink elephant, it probably now seems even bigger than it was before. So if distraction doesn't work, or not for very long anyway, what else could you do instead? Because that's what I seem to suggest, right? I'm saying distraction is maybe not that great a coping strategy because it cannot actually truly work. We're kind of trying to fool ourselves a little bit when we think that distraction is working. So what else can we do instead? Well, what we could do instead is allowing something that bothers you just to be there instead. It's the opposite of distraction, actually. And just to make sure, of course, I'm talking about something that you cannot make actually go away. If you can shush this pink elephant out of the picture, it's gone, it's out of your life, well, then there's no need to distract yourself about it anyway, and you don't need to allow it to be there because it's gone, it's truly gone. But if we're talking about something that is still there, you don't like it, it bothers you, and it's there, the skill of allowing something you don't like that bothers you to be there can actually free you up to spend your time and your energy on, doing something that you really want to do instead of playing pretend. So therefore, allowing is the opposite of distraction. And allowing is one of several psychological flexibility skills that you can learn and practice. And maybe this is a point where people go, oh God, I have to learn something and practice it. That is true. My take on that is, that's great. There is something you can do that helps you approaching things that bother you in a very different way than what you would normally be doing. And maybe that is actually the ticket, the way forward. And the thing is about allowing that, funnily enough, allowing something that bothers you to be there and then spending your time and your energy on something you are really interested in just might, no guarantees, but that actually just might let the pink elephant take a back seat for a while. But there's something really strange going on. The harder people try to pretend that something is not there, the harder they try to distract themselves away from the pink elephant, the more the pink elephant kind of is fighting back. And the more you are willing, you are allowing that pink elephant to be there, but then kind of see what you can do with your attention otherwise. That actually might allow it to fade into the background. Let's do a little experiment before we finish. Let's do a little experiment. So for the next 60 seconds or thereabouts, try not to think about a pink elephant at all. Okay? 60 seconds. Try not to think about a pink elephant. You can think about whatever you like. You can do whatever you like. You cannot get up and close the screen, or even that. You can even do that. So for the next 60 seconds, whatever you do, try not to think about a pink elephant at all. So time starts now. And that was it. That was about a minute. How did that go? Was the pink elephant gone? How did you know it was gone? Now, just before we go overboard with this, I'm a great fan of never throwing out any babies with the bathwater. It was horrible. That saved the babies. So, distraction can be a useful strategy. It can be, but only in particular situations. So, for one, if something is there that doesn't bother you all that much, so it's kind of a more minor irritation or an annoyance, distraction can really work quite well. And secondly, if it's about something that is only happening for a very short period of time, a few moments or a few minutes, that is also a situation where distraction can be really useful. I'm thinking about someone who has got maybe a needle phobia and has to get the bloods taken, or is getting a vaccination shot or something like this. This is a good example of something that takes maybe a minute or two, maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes tops with a lead up. That is really a good opportunity maybe for distraction to be brought into it. And it's possible to kind of have a distraction going for this 1 to 3 minute period of time. Are you still watching? Human brains are interesting things. Our attention gets very easily attracted. That's a flip side of it. Um, so allowing certain things to be there instead of trying to distract ourselves is one psychological flexibility skill, but then also connecting fully with the present moment and taking control over our attention is another skill, but that's for another video. Thank you very much.